Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al kol ha'olam.
Welcome everyone to Shalvah today, a time, as so often is in the time that we've been doing this, time when it's very hard to feel Shalvah. It's hard to feel calm. It's hard to feel equanimity in the face of everything going on in the world. And the one thing that maybe is comforting is that feeling that we're not able to feel peace and not able to feel calm is something that has been the experience of the Jewish people for such a long time. We don't see a lot of times in the Torah or in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible, where people are feeling completely at peace. And when we do, those episodes tend to get skipped over, as in the book of Judges, where it says, and the land had peace for 40 years, and then skips to the next conflict. So we're very experienced with not being able to feel peace, and so we pray for peace. And we pray for peace every day, every prayer service, at the end of each Kaddish, the end of each Amidah, we have a prayer for peace. And this prayer we're looking at today is the one that comes at the end of the Kaddish, and comes at the end of many other prayers. This particular prayer for peace. And this is an ancient formulations. We know our ancient ancestors thousands of years ago were thinking about how can we find peace? Well, how is it possible to have peace and longing for peace? So the rabbis had this sense that God is the source of peace, and that God as the source of peace could somehow bring peace to us. So they start with the idea that God is the one who makes peace. And when they're thinking about God making peace, they're thinking about, first of all, the natural world, where we see that for the most part, the natural world is not at war with itself. The natural world, there's a certain kind of harmony that exists, even though, of course, there's conflicts in nature. There's animals that hunt each other. There are plants that try to take each other's habitat. In general, there's a kind of harmony even to those efforts, and even the destructive forces of nature, thinking about the natural wildfires and things that happen in nature that can be destructive, are within a system that is in general productive. So the first place they look for peace is actually outside our world, in the heavens. And if we look up in the stars, the sky, as we often do when we're seeking peace, one of the reasons we like to stargaze and to look into the night sky is because it seems very peaceful there. There's not war, there's not conflict happening when we look high above us. And so that's one of the examples about how God makes peace in our universe, is that there exists peace. And maybe we can even feel that outside of the human realm, we're surrounded by peace. Everywhere we look, there's peace. Why do we like to go out into nature? And why does that make us feel more at ease? Partly because we see the peace of nature, the growing things, the animals getting along with each other, and that can make us relax a little bit. So in formulating this prayer, the rabbis look above and say, oh, above us, there's peace. There's peace in the heavens. There's peace in this heavenly realm that we can see. And maybe they're also thinking about the heavenly realm that we can't see, the realm of angels and divine forces that they imagine are up there in God's realm. And they say, God, that's the kind of peace you're capable of making. We know you're capable of making peace because we see it. We see it in the heavens. We see it in the natural world. So we know that you have that power. And the problem is that human beings don't always make peace. And human beings don't always feel peaceful. And so all we're asking, God, is not for you to develop some capability that you don't have or to do something unusual in the universe. It's for you, God, to do the thing that you do in many places where we turn, where we see you making peace, creating a universe at peace, and to bring that into the human realm. And in this formulation of the prayer that we have before us, it's in ascending order of magnitude, maybe, and it starts with us. That peace has to start with us. So the first thing we want to do if we want there to be peace on earth is to pray for peace inside of us, inside our own souls, inside our hearts. That's the first level that the prayer addresses, is God, please bring peace to us, into our souls and into our hearts. The second level is for all of the Jewish people. And when we see the word Israel in English, these days we tend to think of the state of Israel and the nation of Israel, where almost half of the Jewish people live. But in ancient times, they're thinking about Israel, the people. So they're saying we have a connection to some people who are right next to us, other parts of the Jewish people who we know well and are close to. And we also are connected to the Jewish people who live far from us in other places on earth. So the first level is just over us, we who are gathered here in this moment. The second level is all of the people with whom we are apart. And we say, that's the next place we want to pray for peace, that if we can feel peace within ourselves, then we want peace, that sense of peace, to spread to all of the Jewish people. Then the third level in this formulation is this, again, ancient formulation to say, Kol Yoshvei Tevel, all of the dwellers on earth, all of the inhabitants of the earth, so that no one is left out. And one of the key things this prayer is here to tell us is that peace is not something really that can be bounded. We can't say, and we're going to pray for peace I'm going to pray for peace for me, but not for you. Or I'm going to pray for peace for my people, but not for your people. That peace among human beings really means there has to be peace everywhere. Peace for me means having peace for you, and peace for all those on earth who we don't even know. Peace can't be bounded. If it's really going to be peace, it has to spread out to all of humanity. And then I love this formulation that gives us another level, because very often we stop at Val Kol Yoshvei Tevel, for all who dwell on earth. Here it says Val Kol Au Ha'olam, and over the whole world. So that's not just the human realm of the earth. That's also the other parts of the earth, the natural world, the animal realm, the plants. Because one of the things we know now is if there's not peace in the human realm, then ultimately there won't be peace for nature either. That the human realm spills over. We humans, we used to think, couldn't possibly have an effect on the earth. Now we know what a deep effect we have on the earth. So when there's a lack of peace for us, there's a lack of peace for the whole world. So when we think about this prayer, we have the model of peace in the heavens, and then we ask God to just bring that model, just a little bit of that peace, to us, to our own hearts, to the people of whom we are a part, to humanity writ large, of which we are also a part, and then to the entirety of the earth, the plants, the animals, and the humans. All of us together need peace.
So, so taking all of that teaching in and using it to focus our attention in the direction of loving kindness and peace. So we're going to start with becoming aware of our bodies and our breath, bringing our attention more fully into this moment. Taking a couple of deep breaths to relax and ground ourselves. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that, or gaze softly a few feet in front of you on the floor. Feeling the points of contact between your hands, resting on your lap, your seat, your feet on the floor. Becoming aware of your body breathing. Following a few inhalations and exhalations. Establishing your breath as the anchor in case your thoughts wander when we begin the loving kindness portion of this meditation. You can always come back to your breath. So, first, bringing attention to ourselves. We've been carrying around so much stress and emotion. And giving ourselves permission to feel compassion for our own selves during these really challenging times. So, may I feel compassion for myself. Really feeling what that feels like. When you feel compassion for yourself, what effect does that have on your body? Does it feel warm? Does it feel like you're allowing your muscles to relax? What is your physical experience of self-compassion? And moving on to another phrase, may I experience peace. What does that feel like? May I feel peace. Do you feel lighter, maybe quieter in your mind? And then bringing to mind someone who you love, who it's really, you have a relatively uncomplicated relationship with. It can be a pet or a human being, and sending all your compassion to that loved one. And then offering that being peace. May you feel peace. Remembering that you can always use your breath as an anchor to bring you back to the present. And then expanding our net to include all the people who we know are feeling similarly to how we're experiencing this moment right now. And offering all of them our compassion, offering them the wish that they might feel self-compassion for all that they are carrying. Feeling what it would feel like if we could all take a collective breath and make space for really being present to offer ourselves that compassion that we so need. And offering that same group our intention for peace. May we feel peace. Using our breath to remain anchored in awareness and really focusing on what that would feel like. If we could all feel peace. And then casting our net even wider to encompass all the people who inhabit our earth. Offering everybody compassion, to the degree that we're able, and using our breath to remain anchored in this practice of offering compassion. Imagining the transformational effect it would have on our world if everybody could experience that. And offering that group of people, all of us, peace, the intention for peace. Using our breath to keep us focused here. And stretching even wider to include our whole planet. All the inhabitants of our world. And the soil, water, our whole earth. Imagining if we could offer healing and recovery, refuah shlema, to our planet. You can keep your eyes closed if you wish. I'm going to begin chanting Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al kol ha'olam. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav. hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'al kol ha'olam.
So I hope when the stresses of this time, stresses of our lives get to us, we feel so anxious, we can come back to this place of peace. Peace in our bodies, peace for those like us, peace for all the people on earth, and peace for the earth itself. Peace for us all. Thank you for all for being with us this week.